Good morning, Xbox. Yes, welcome everybody to episode 82 of Good Morning Xbox. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's NewfNukem in the room. Let's get ready to go with some great topics and an even better panel with us this morning. As always, we have the fabulous and energetic CoolcatTerri.
Good morning, everybody. It's another wonderful Sunday, and if you say it's not, then you're wrong. Let's have a great show.
That's right. She will always make sure that you were wrong. All right, bringing in our second panel member of the morning is the cranky one. I like to call him the cranky one, but no, he's awesome. It is CerebralPaul.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. It's a Sunday. Let's have some fun. Let's go.
Indeed, let's go.
There, that's it for my energy for today. I'm done. This is
done.
That was it.
By the way, Paul, if you want to toss up your link to the donation thing anytime during the show, by all means, have at her. Throw it in the chat and want stuff. So,
okay, I didn't know if we wanted to talk about my desperate situation, but okay, sure,
well,
we can do that.
Hey, man, I don't know. It's as good a time as any, I guess, to bring it up.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, you're going to be in dire straits pretty soon, so every little bit counts, right?
Yep. Okay, I can do that.
So, alrighty, let's bring in. We got a couple of amazing guests, plus one surprise guest for the morning. So we'll bring him in next. So we're going to bring in our first guest of the morning, a man who is no stranger to my audience, who was a former co-panel member over on Gaming After Dark. It's the man of many talents, the one, the only, Darth Praxis.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me.
You have many talents. Name two. I'm confused here.
If I find them, I'll rub them together. Stay warm because I can talk. There you go.
There you go.
He can cast his own Harry Potter spells.
There you go.
Alrighty. He's one of the most energetic individuals you will ever meet in the podcast community. He's just a fabulous individual, big supporter of the show, so it's only fair that we have him back here on Good Morning Xbox, making his first appearance of 2023. The one, the only, Bark Doggy Dog 420.
Yeah, thank you, Newf. It is great to be back once again. Good morning, panel. Good morning, chat. You guys are all great. It's going to be a great show. Happy to be here.
And our last guest, a surprise addition late last night. Glad he could be here making his first ever appearance. The host of Game Set Live. He's the man who brings the jelly to the show, KY Bob.
That's right. Of course, bringing up the end of the panel here, which is where you want your lube, is in the end. That's right. This is early for Bob on non-work days. I'm up late on my days off playing games.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, KY.
No problem.
Bringing up the rear. All right, let's give a shout out real quick to the chat, because without them, our podcast would be pretty much useless. So let's, So anyway, let's get right into it. We got Timmy in the chat this morning. What's going on, brother? Our good friend Crispy Rambo is here. Your Wicked Hot's hanging out with us. Draven Arrows in the building. Well, good to see you. We've also got M. Gene hanging out with us this morning. We got Sathius in the building. Supersonic Station. Yes, man, it's just about PSVR 2 time. Can't freaking wait. Super excited. Outbreak Gamers, Mr. Webb Dave is in the house. What's going on, brother? Hey, our good friend Sir X-Man is in the building. Ice Queen Gaming, General Spartan, and yeah, I think we've caught just about up with everybody for the moment. Again, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Let's get this show on the road. What's everybody been up to, Terry? What have you been playing?
I've actually been playing Gotham Knights. I finally had some time. Been putting a little bit of time into playing that, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. Been playing it solo. And but yeah, like it's a good game. I think it's a good game. It's not an amazing game, but it's a good game. It's holding my attention.
Mm. I don't find the combat to be quite as satisfying as the old Arkham series.
True.
That's just my take on it. If you need a co-op partner, by the way, hook me up. I do have the game. I want to play it more. Alrighty, let's get over to CerebralPaul. Paul, what have you been throwing down?
First, let me just answer your question, chat. Game Pass. No, I'm kidding.
I was going to do that too.
Let's see. I've been playing mostly Hogwarts Legacy, a little bit of Prominence Poker, keeping up on the dailies and stuff like that. But mostly those two games. Almost wrapped up totally with Hogwarts Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of cleanup to do even after you finish everything. It's like go find all this crap that's hidden all over the map and do all these little missions and crap. So it's going to take a few days still probably.
There you go, guys. There's a link up on the screen. If you're able to go over and share Paul some support, even if you have to use your means of social media just to share it out and get more eyes on the prize, as they say, help us gentlemen out. He's a great friend and a good member of the community, and we all have times when things, life throws us curveballs, and they've certainly thrown a lot at Paul the last couple. So anything would be appreciated.
Starting in 1966, it was
the moment Paul saw the daylight. Fuck!
Been an uphill battle.
All righty. Darth Praxis, what have you been playing, brother?
Oh, well, I've been playing, I've still been playing Modern Warfare 2, and actually the other one that's been taking up most of my time is Monster Hunter Rise. So I've been pouring a ton of hours into that one.
There you go. Not as good as Monster Hunter World, I'm hearing, but still pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what you figure the evolution of a game that's been around that long is to make it. I mean, Monster Hunter World felt like this great combination of everything that came before and able to make it a little bit fresher, and they made it a little easier in some ways for players, and they kind of brought some of that in, but they went backwards. And I don't know. It could have been better. I think a lot of that was also because it was brought to the Switch first, so they needed to focus some things, and then they brought it out on everything after. But I'm hoping that we eventually see like a Monster Hunter World 2 someday. But who knows? It's Capcom.
They're pretty popular, so I would not doubt it at all.
It was their best-selling game of almost all time. I think it was crazy.
Yeah, very, very big, especially in the land of the rising sun. Doggy Doug, what's been popular at the doghouse?
Hi-Fi Rush, I finished it a week ago or so I've been going through and mopping up cleaning up, it says on some stuff on that, and God of War Ragnarok.
Nice.
Lots of fun.
Those are a couple of heavy hitters right there. Speaking of the heavy hitters. Okay, well, Bob, what game have you been greasing down lately?
Well, up until last Friday, it was Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition and Dead Space Remake. But for the last 7 days, it's been Hogwarts Legacy every night, 2 or 3 hours a night. And yeah, it's just, and what's funny is the people that don't even like, Jay Fonzarelli is a great example. Shout out to him. He doesn't even like Harry Potter, but he loves this game because it has nothing to do with Harry Potter. It focuses on the lore, and it's true to that. So yeah, it is an amazing game. I can't get enough of it.
Nice. No, it's definitely a good game. I'm enjoying mine. I'm not that far into the game compared to many of you who finished it or what have you, but I'm enjoying it. I'm taking my time with it. You know what I mean? Trying to explore some stuff and try to figure everything out. But yeah, it's good stuff. Which, speaking of what I've been playing, that's kind of been it. Been Harry Potter, a little bit of everything. So like last night, me and Brando Dwyer or Brando Calrissian, I don't know if he'll be in the chat this morning, but we were playing some Gears last night. First time he ever tackled the Gears 5 campaign. He was really enjoying himself. And that's what gaming's all about, enjoying ourselves. So that gets us right into topic number one. Yes, this episode of Good Morning Expo is brought to you by Xbox Game Pass. Speaking of Game Pass, a fantastic game is coming to it next week, or at least we hope it's a fantastic game, and that's where we start. Atomic Heart. This game has been on the radar for quite some time. It's certainly one of the most visually popping games that we have seen. It's got some cool futuristic cyberpunk whole lot of stuff going on. Great little trailer came out this past week, a live action trailer to promote the game with Jensen Ackles. in the leading role on that commercial, kind of poking fun at the Hogwarts game to start it out there, I think, or whatever. But a cool little way to promote the game. So what do you guys think of Atomic Heart? I guess we'll start in with our panel and find out if anybody's planning to play it and if there's any excitement levels for it. I mean, it's one of the bigger games to come out, or one of the more highlighted ones to come out for Game Pass this year. Let's start with CoolcatTerri. Is this one on your radar whatsoever?
All right, so I do want to play it. I want to check it out. I will admit, though, when they first started showing the game, I had zero interest in it. The game was kind of rubbing me the wrong way in terms of the way that the combat mechanics were looking with the gunplay.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's getting closer to release, the game looks a lot better now than it did when they were first started showing it. So I'm definitely interested in checking it out. And this game is giving me, to me, it looks a lot like they took like influences from like BioShock Infinite as well as Last of Us, and they merged them together. And it looks like it could be a pretty interesting experience. I definitely am looking forward to trying it out.
I don't know why. I still got a weird Metro vibe from it, but I'm not really sure why. I don't know. It just kind of has that sort of definitely. You can definitely see how it borrows from some of the more popular games out there. By the way, this is developed by a little developer called Mundfish, published by Focus Entertainment. Just to clear that up. So, Mundfish, I don't know. I don't know their track record. I don't know if anybody's ever played anything that they've done in the past, but that's the only thing that's always concerning, right? The game looks amazing, but we've seen how small developers, have made some games that look really good, but sort of missed the mark, like that one. What was that Bright Memory Infinite game or whatever, which had fantastic visuals, but what wasn't like the greatest game in the world. Is any concerns on that, Terry?
I don't know. I really don't know. I really can't say. It's just,
Well, what do you expect from the game? Like, what are your hopes for the game itself? Like, I mean, it looks like it's trying to do some new things, despite borrowing some stuff from other games.
I mean, for me, I just want it to have solid gameplay. If it has a good story, that would be a perk. But I don't. There's a good chance the story might not be that great. It's going to focus more on just the combat element, I think, to try to hook people in. But I don't know. Like I said, when they first started showing it, it didn't really appeal to me. It looked like they were trying to copy too many things. Because like the game easily, you could say, also looks like Fallout and Outer Worlds and like pretty much every other game that has already been out there. They just put their own little spin on it. So I'm hoping the game I'm hoping they were creative enough to make their game stand apart, and that we're not playing the entire game and being like, man, this is just like this. This is just like this. It needs to stand alone from all the inspiration that they're taking from.
Right. Perfect. What was I going to say? I was going to ask you something.
Stop letting your brain fart. Come on.
Yes, my brain is farting. It's early in the morning. It might be afternoon somewhere. Hello to the chat again. We got some amazing people here this morning, including Cray Simmons, Gaming TV, Invader Gamement's hanging out with us as well, and our good friend of the show, Dreadpool, is in the building. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody here. Rob, what's happening, brother? It's been a long time. It's been a hot minute since we played some multiplayer. Let's move it over. CerebralPaul. Any level of excitement for Atomic Heart? Plus, also, I've noticed, at least I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen a review yet, and apparently this game comes out in a couple days. Is that a concern or not?
That's never a concern for me because it depends on the history of the game or the publisher and stuff. The only time it's of concern. This, I have no concern. And yeah, I will say this looks like to me like it draws a lot from oh damn it, I just had the name of the game in my head too. The one with the underwater city.
BioShock.
BioShock.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Which has me hooked on the game already. And from what I understand, some of Mundfish, I mean, the publisher has their ties there as well, if I recall correctly. I'm hoping for a good story. I mean, for me, it's all about, BioShock was such a great world for story, and I'm hoping they did the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So, You know, and I'm hoping they make some improvements because in BioShock it's really easy to get lost and just wander around in circles for quite a while. You know, the pathing wasn't always, even the pathing that told you where to go wasn't always really very
Clearly laid
well
out,
done
yeah.
at times. Yeah, it's like,
Mhm.
this is a wall. You're telling
Yeah.
me to go through a wall. What the hell?
Yeah, could you
know?
guys put an arrow somewhere because this is bullshit.
Yeah. It's like,
Well,
I've
you
seen
know,
this room before, but
we
I'm
cer-
looking forward to it.
It's good. I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Let's see what happens in a couple of days' time. Again, no harm, no foul, right? It's coming out
Yep.
on Game Pass.
And
So
if
there you
it drops at midnight my time Monday night, I will be
Mhm.
playing it. If it drops later that day, Tuesday, I will be
Mhm.
playing it. So I'll probably pre-install it today.
go. So graphically and design-wise, it looks, like I said, aesthetically pleasing. It looks like a game that definitely has you invited to come in. It's it's like going on a hot date. Where they look good, but you're not sure what you're going to get.
Right.
Darth Praxis, is that a fair assessment here? And what is it going to take to make this game stand out? Because first-person shooters are almost done to death to a certain degree. So what are you looking forward to or expecting from this game, if you're excited about it at all?
Well, as long as the date doesn't sound like a dolphin when they talk, it's okay. As far as well, it's Russian. I love Russian, so it's good things. We're going to play a game like Metro. It's very good. I like.
Okay, Sergey, you tell us more.
No, I do not want to tell more. I will play a game. You will play a game too, and we'll make sure the whole world plays game. And we will get into you, and you will owe us forever. Good game. No, it looks interesting. I've thought the BioShock thing actually is probably the most prominent influence and inspiration. I mean, it looks a lot like a BioShock sequel or something that is tied to that universe, the way it works, and that has me interested more than anything. So,
Well, some of the character designs kind of remind me of that game that CoolcatTerri brought up a few weeks back, Steel Rising, which she felt should have been was highly overlooked for Game of the Year nods and stuff like that. So it definitely has that mechanical, robotic, like futuristic kind of thing going on there. You like your robots, Sergey?
Oh, I love my robots. They're very good. They listen to me better than the people I have to kill. And they
By the way, I
kill them
just
for
saw
me
that,
too.
this team was started by it was a 4-man team that started this game.
Oh wow! So there you go. You got a applaud little developer starting out.
They've grown since then, but yeah, they started with 4 guys going, hey, let's do a game.
Well, it's a great time to talk about a game like this coming from, again, a relatively small unknown developer, because this is our developer appreciation show today, essentially, and we are going to talk about some of our favorite developers in the industry in just a bit. But how about you, Doggy Dog? Where's your excitement level from this? This is on a scale of 1 to 10 dog bones. Where does it land?
I don't know. These kind of games aren't really my cup of tea or whatever.
Not your cup of tea?
Yeah, so like 5 bones maybe or whatever. It'll be in Game Pass. There's that word. So I'll definitely try it out. The trailer looks cool. It looks like a cool story. The graphics look awesome. Your title of your show says, "Well, be as good as it looks." If it's as good as it looks, that'll be a really great game. I saw something in one of the trailers. It said that like 5 areas at 25 hours each of gameplay, which I know you probably don't have to complete all that, but that sounds like me losing interest before any game like that at 125 hours. So,
Damn.
I don't know if I might have took that wrong completely too. It said it like just 5, whatever the areas were called, 25 hours of gameplay each. So, a little too deep for me there on that. I'd probably back away. Even if I did like it, I wouldn't get much done on. That's not my kind of game.
Are you saying this game, each area is like 20 something hours?
What's that?
Are you talking about Atomic Heart? They're saying like this game's like really long?
Yeah, that's what it said in the trailer. So it said 5 areas, 25 hours each a gameplay.
Holy moly!
And
it didn't say that in the trailer. I'm gonna have to go back and check the trailer on that.
Yeah, it was in the one that's like if you go to the game, it's the one that if you press up on it and it'll play. And the trailer's like 5 or 6 minutes long. It's like, explaining everything. Yeah, so I might have took that wrong, but when I heard that, I was even more. I was like, that's gonna be too much for me. So.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that's a selling point or not. For me, that's actually one of those things I'm like, ugh.
And I'm sure you don't have to do all that. I mean, just like a lot of games, you can complete them a lot faster. But
not going to get your bark of appreciation, your howl of shame. Then,
yeah, this looks like it's Western RPG-ish style, and like Fallout and stuff is what it comes like to me. And that's just not my.
Yeah, I don't want to be fetching the bolts to put these things back together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Here's a screwdriver and a bolt. Go to the next mission. Get the next.
Did you get the steel wool and the polish? God damn it, go back. What? Got to make them robots look shiny.
All right. Like Doggy says, it's in Game Pass, so no harm from the foul. But speaking of Game Pass, or at least the alternative option, does anyone know if this game will get a physical release?
If this game is what?
If it's going to get physical
release, you guys know me.
I do not know.
Like my disc copies, and the fact it's coming from Focus Entertainment, who is normally known, I think one of their biggest titles has been the Plague Tale Requiem games.
Yes, it will be getting physical copies. It looks like.
I think Focus published Plague Tale, didn't they? Well, I could be wrong. Yeah. I'm
looking at Best Buy's site right now.
Okay. Because I don't have Game Pass, so I'm gonna need me that.
Yeah, I can also confirm. I went to GameFly because they only do physical, and they have it there for people to.
Yay!
Yep. It's the best place to check. Yeah.
Way to go, GameFly.
Surely.
And then, of course, you've heard that there were rumors that the other big game wasn't going to have physical, but it is. So.
Yeah, let's squash that right here while we're on it, right?
Yeah.
Squash that rumor. Yes.
Yep. I still see that rumor floating around. I'm like, dude, they announced a few days ago they are getting a physical. Only the additional stuff that you buy as a bonus is going to be non-physical, but the base game will be physical. So shut the hell up.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Shut your damn mouth already.
Yeah. Stop looking for another negative narrative to be tossing at Xbox again, right?
Yeah. Go find another one. Yeah.
Yes. Go find some better things to do, people. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of the bonus, yes, our bonus guest this morning, K1 Bob. Where's your excitement level for Atomic Fart? Are you ready to blow?
I got to tell you, it's getting up there. Munfish, we've not seen a whole lot from Munfish. They were founded in 2017, and I don't really understand I understand that the people are going to try and ban this game because of Russia and Ukraine, but this game this studio is actually made up of people from 10 different countries. The Munfish is made up of people from Poland, Ukraine, Austria, Georgia, Israel, Armenia, Serbia. I mean, there's a lot. It is a melting pot of developers. And I can say that I am a little worried about it seems there is a review embargo on this game that runs all the way up to the day of release.
Wow.
We get it on the 21st, right? But the embargo does not end until 5 p.m. Pacific on February the 20th. So, and 8 Eastern. That's a pretty. You don't get first impressions of the game. People can't tell them until like literally hours before the game is released. So I don't know. I will.
With it being on Game Pass, that doesn't bother me so much because either way,
yeah. I mean, it's no risk for Game Pass subscribers. And yeah, it does give me that BioShock Infinite vibe. And another thing it does give me is a little bit of Bulletstorm with the showing the force that you can have. Well, with the device on your hand and throwing things away and causing manipulation in air and whatnot to take out the enemies. That's that's quite interesting.
So
I love Bulletstorm. Bulletstorm's one of my favorite games to go back to.
So
that's why.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to be stupid. You can say something smart.
I was going to say, that's why I said BioShock Infinite, because BioShock Infinite does the same thing where you manipulate things with your hands and you can shoot like electricity and all kinds of stuff. So throw stuff at people.
Oh, yeah. Right on. I was just going to say, Bob, on the whole, feels pretty good is what you're telling us.
You can take it where you want it, but the KY's for Kentucky. I'm just saying. Putting it out
Sure
there.
it is.
At least that's
And-
what he keeps telling us. That's what he keeps
Yeah.
telling us anyway.
I believe him.
So when I first saw the teaser a few days ago of the, I kind of thought they were jabbing at Hogwarts Legacy, but then the more I thought about it, it's almost like an homage to because they realized that you could tell that it wasn't that a whole lot didn't go into this teaser. This teaser was basically shot in a room with a prop and 2 people.
Yeah.
And they were coming out and saying, hey, look, we know what you're all playing right now and what you're used to doing to take out your foes. Let us show you how that doesn't work here and what you do have to do. So I don't think they were poking fun at it. I think they were just, they were acknowledging this is what the community's doing, and we'd love you to try out our game, and this is how we do it.
Yeah, fair enough. I just know that Jensen Ackles, and I love that guy. I think he's awesome. And,
that was a good touch.
Love them from the Supernatural show, and I've always said too, if they were recasting Superman, he'd be a cool. I think he'd be a cool contender for that role. But but then again, he's kind of old, by industry standards, because he's got to be Henry Cavill's age.
It was a sad day in my life when Supernatural ended.
Yeah, that's a cool show. Yep. So Atomic Heart, it sounds like with the exception of Doggy Dog, most of us have this game on the radar and will be trying it out sooner than later. So again, it comes out in a couple days. I think it's on the 21st, if I'm correct. If you are a Game Pass subscriber, you get it at no extra charge, essentially, so you can drop right in and get going. The review embargo is a little concerning. Like I said, the fact that they leave it so late, it's always, to me, it feels like, because you always notice the games that kind of get that early game of the year kind of buzz. A lot of times they're getting, and it's not in all cases, but a lot of times they let them go early. They let them review like a week early and stuff like that, so people can dive right into the game and give you at least a half sensible, accurate breakdown of the game they've been playing. And other games that seem to always like, kind of fly under the seat of the pants, they're kind of like, it's coming out, but it's going to be last minute. It's almost like they're trying to avoid any bad publicity or and I don't necessarily blame them, because even if they think they got a gem of a game, or we think it's a gem of a game, we all see how like a rating, and even a rating of 7, which is still a good game, and you can't expect every game that comes out to get 9s and 10s, but even a game that's 7, we all know like how that can be detrimental to the way the game is perceived, the way it's received. You literally see people going from, it used to be a day one must buy to, well, now it's a, down the road, maybe if it's on sale kind of deal. So, because I know myself, I kind of did that with Gotham Knights, and I'm a huge like Batman Arkham series fan, and I love those games. I bought them all day one, and Gotham Knights, like I wasn't planning to buy it. Actually, the only reason I have it is because a friend gifted it to me. But I was like, I'm going to wait for this game to go on sale, because it's just not floating my boat. You know how that works. So yeah, Bob's shaking it out over there.
And I think part of their thought for the embargo may have been they were picking up a little bit of heat for it's a Russian game and should be boycotted crap. And so by not getting too much out there, they're not going to get bombarded with the negative crap, even if it's not warranted.
Well,
but we see how well the negative crap worked out for the Wizarding game.
I'll make it clear here. Don't hold the Russian people accountable
for the Russian government.
For the
leaders.
Government.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on.
You got to be able to separate the two. They have a communist dictator, POS over there running things. It's not on the people. I'm pretty sure if you ask probably 98% of their public, they wish this crap would go away and they could get back to normal lives. But that's again, that's kind of ruined over there.
We even saw it on the news where some of those convoys of Russian military that were heading towards Ukraine were just parking and leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like this is a war that even sounds like some of their soldiers have no part of. It's just forced into it, like BS basically. You know what I mean?
I do want to add that it is on Game Pass, and it has been preloadable for the last week and a half. So you can
I know.
and you
I preloaded it
preload
last
right
night.
now.
Oh yeah.
And it's a big boy. It's 78 gigs.
Yeah. It
Hey,
is,
no, let me say, for Hogwarts is the same. Hogwarts about 77, 78, but it looks like what was last year would have been 130 gigs. Okay, so they're definitely learning how to better package their games in a very small space, relatively small space. So
they should talk to Nintendo. They're good at that.
The cartridges just keep getting smaller and smaller.
Well, I'm just saying their game file sizes have always been notoriously tiny.
Yeah,
I'm
like
just
less than
saying
5
that
gigs.
77. Hopefully, 77 is the new 110. It's like,
Well, I think some of the games we're playing today on Xbox and PlayStation, they have more polygons in one player model than Nintendo probably has in their entire game.
Well, yeah, and I've always said that about Nintendo. They're
if you look at other games that were released on their system, even most games are double their size.
Yeah.
Most third-party games are double their size, and you're like, what the hell? And most of the good-looking games are made by Nintendo, so you're like,
So we're getting asset management down to a manageable,
That's a hope.
Infinity Ward and the Call of Duty teams.
Oh, gee. Oh,
these
no.
guys need to pay attention. These guys need to pay attention. Okay?
How about Destiny and Bungie, for God's sakes? Jesus.
When updates come out that are nearly as large as most games, you're like, man, this is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I've got 250 gigs for Destiny 2 on my freaking thing, dude. It's
well,
huge.
you have all the add-ons downloaded and installed.
Well, I don't have all the add-ons downloaded. No,
wow,
I don't. I do not. I can't put all the add-ons on.
It's pretty shameful that a 20 gigabyte hard drive during the Xbox 360 era literally lasted us almost like
the whole generation.
Almost the whole generation. I mean, mind you, a lot of those discs used to actually have physical data on the disc, which was great. The extra That's why your darn console always sounded like a damn spaceship. But you had to appreciate it, right? Now these discs got nothing on them other than like install file and a DRM license, really.
As opposed to PS4.
And let's be fair, there were a couple of games in the 360 era that hit the 4 disc mark. I think. LA Noir was the first one to do that.
Yeah. What do we do with all this motion video? Oh, we're going to leave it uncompressed.
Yeah.
Yes, which is actually one of the nice reasons I like the Mass Effect Ultimate Edition, because you can get up and play, especially the third game in the series without having to get up and swap the discs out in the console.
Yeah.
Terry's over there with a little smile on her face. She loves Mass Effect. God bless Mass Effect. Oh God. Speaking of Mass Effect, though, man, please BioWare, show us something soon if you can of that game. I'm so dying to see something. I don't know where that is in the development scheme of things, but God, I'm so excited for the new Mass Effect.
It won't be happening until they get done with Dragon Age.
Okay. So,
gotta wait a little longer.
Settle in. Just before we get to CoolcatTerri and the indie spotlight, because we're running to that point of the show, I think it's safe to say we could just leave the Atomic Heart discussion on the floor at this point. Play it if you want to, and if you don't, like I said, and if you're Game Pass subscribers, no harm, no foul, you can try it out and don't have to worry about if you feel it's a waste of, essentially 60, 70, 80 bucks that you would have paid for physical. Like Newf, I'll have to find it the hard way, but I'll wait till people play it and give me some consensus on it first. I just wanted to quickly ask, has anybody watched the latest Flash movie trailer? I know we don't often top movies here, but my God.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks awesome. I cannot wait to see it.
All I got to say, Michael Keaton comes out, the hair on my arms stood the heck up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of standing up. Shit.
That is. The hair on my butt stood up, too.
Like a forest there, but kind of frightening. Yeah.
Anybody else excited? I could really care less about Ezra Miller, and I'm not even the biggest Flash fan, but the whole movie looked really cool to me.
Yeah.
What's Terry?
I'm right there. I couldn't care less about the Flash, but the fact that they had Michael Keaton's Batman in there, I'm like, okay, no, I want to watch it for that. I couldn't care less about Flash. He's just in the movie as far as I'm concerned.
Anybody else? Any excitement here?
Ezra's not my fan, or I'm not a fan of him. But the movie does look good, and it makes me think of what could have been or should be with the Batman franchise and like Batman Beyond, or even the Dark Knight Returns, with Michael Keaton playing that. That's what should be, in my opinion.
Indeed. Well, I'm wholeheartedly behind the hashtag sell the Snyderverse to Netflix. Please do so, because I am not excited at all where James Gunn's new DC universe is going. But that's just me. I'm not going to get into a whole comic war shit this morning. But yeah, I'm not excited about his take on it at all. Just the fact that they got rid of Cavill. It spoke volumes to me. The fans want him back, so you're not listening to your fan base. You're just going because you want to make everything connect.
But the fan base isn't looking at the big picture either.
Who cares if it all connects? I just want good movies. I don't give a shit if the TV show connects with the music, connects with
No, it's not about TV shows connecting.
No.
It's
Cavill has his own opinions about them and their political ones, so he's against them too. So the fans don't matter as far as Cavill's concerned. He's got his own feelings behind everything.
Well, he is a fan, though. That's the key.
Yes, I like that. Anyway, yeah, now he's not even the Witcher now. Oh my god! And then I saw a picture of Liam Hemsworth as the Witcher. I laughed.
It's not the best changeover to that. It's pretty bad.
It almost didn't even look like Liam Hemsworth at first. I was like, what the heck? Anyway, I do digress. Any thoughts before we get to CoolcatTerri? Anybody?
I just want to add that it's going to be cool to see, because for those of you who don't know, when it comes to I forgot his name. We just talked about him.
James Gunn?
No, for Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. For those of you who don't know, when Michael Keaton does stuff, they don't use his real voice anymore. It's all AI because he lost his voice with cancer. So it's all AI generated, and they do. It's amazing how good the technology is because it sounds just like him.
Michael Keaton. I thought it was Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Val Kilmer's one of
I could have it mixed up, but I know one of them. I could have it mixed up, but one of them I know they don't use his real voice anymore. It's all AI generated.
Yeah, Kilmer's the one who doesn't have a voice anymore.
I've seen Keaton in recent movies, and he sounded just fine. So he kind of news to me. Yeah,
it's funny you should say that, Terry, because I was watching an interview with Elon Musk the other day, and they asked him what kind of new technology he's invested in. And he gave a little peek into a company who is developing, it will literally make you sound like anybody that they have on database. I mean, he did he activated it right there. You could tell he was doing the show from his PC. He activated the app that he invested in, and in a blink of an eye, he sounded exactly like Morgan Freeman. And then he changed it again. And he sounded just like Tom Cruise. And it was like, do you realize what this will do for the podcasting world? This application, I can say I got somebody on my show that I really don't even have on my show.
Well, that's part of the problem too. Yeah, that's going to be.
That is part of the problem.
That's what I say. Nuke can already do it. Nuke already does this.
Going to put people like Nukem out of business. I tell you that right now.
But Scooby Doo the other day on Flamish's show, that was hilarious.
It'll make it a lot harder for lawyers to prosecute criminals if they say that someone used their voice on that recording isn't really them. It's AI generated. That's not me.
Well,
Well, I mean, I'd imagine you have to probably be a little more famous than the common criminal to have your whatever you call it uploaded into this database.
Yeah, they have to have enough voice sampling to be able to pull from.
Correct.
Yeah, but you can pull pranks on politicians that are dangerous though too. You could do really crazy things. You could make them say things they never would say, and then actually, if you infuse it with enough distortion and make it sound like it's just noise, you could mask it enough to where people can't tell it's fake. So there's dangerous things.
Whoever the current president will be at the time will always be the first target. Everyone's going to want to mock the president, whoever the president is.
Yeah, anybody that has a voice that you can record from, that you can get samples from. Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's launch the nuclear codes.
unless this application is to where the only voices you can get are the ones they have on database, and they control that so that they.
Oh no, that's not the case. I've already seen what you're talking about. No, you can get in and put anybody you want in there.
Really?
It's totally open.
Oh,
It's
man.
totally open,
Yeah.
dude.
Slippery. Yeah.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
totally open. Well, once you put a piece of software out there like that, you're thinking like, oh, these people control it. No, once software's out there, it's out there. Anybody can deconstruct it and reconstruct it and put it all back together. Once you put it out there, anybody can have it. So, yeah,
This might
if you
actually
get enough
come in
samples,
handy.
yeah.
On my podcast, when people can't make it, I can just have somebody else show up and use their voice. Yeah.
Oh, so in other words, we're gonna listen to Power Man and him talk for 90% of it.
Oh lordy.
Everybody kind of goes, "Is KY Bob still here? Like you haven't heard him for like an hour."
Yeah, my panel gets going on rants and they just hand it to each other back and forth. And I don't. The only time I get in is when I introduce a topic and we move to another topic. That's it. That's
Transition.
Bob's just
Bob.
like, I am the button pusher. That's it.
Yeah, you have
A mediator.
he has a mute and a kick button too. You should remember those things.
Um,
Click. Oh, you lost your audio. We'll get back to you.
Hey, Doggy Dog, I'm going to let you read out this guy and say hello to this guy because I just want to hear you read his name.
Harry Balzac, good morning. What's up?
There you go. I just had to do that the way I knew Doggy Dog.
What's up?
He definitely put some Harry on the Balzac. That's what he did.
You did, sir.
Oh,
I
man.
don't have much, so yeah.
Okay. It is time. We're halfway through. Before we go down a few rabbit holes here, so let's bring in CoolcatTerri and a look at the indie spotlight.
All right, everyone. So this time around, I went ahead and I picked out a game that I think is going to appeal to a lot of those of you in the audience because you all have chimed in on multiple occasions when it comes to, you know, your love for beat 'em up games like Streets of Rage and the Ninja Turtles when the Ninja Turtles came back. So this one is going to be for all of you who like a good beat 'em up. So enjoy.
A struggle as old as humanity itself. An endless battle of minds and bodies, raging inside every one of us. The mightiest fall, betrayed by the base needs of their fragile vessels. But not me. My mind is a weapon. My body, an instrument honed to perfection. I will prevail.
Man, you are such a drama queen. So, what do we do now?
All right, so we got Shing here. It's, you know, you get to play as a group of ninja warriors, and you're going around and just slashing monsters and machines and having a good old time. You can play this game solo, or you can have up to 4-player co-op. It's both local and online, so you can enjoy that. It's on all platforms. It starts out at $20, but if you act right now, you can get it for a whole whopping $2 on Xbox. Sale ends tomorrow, so don't sleep on it. Don't procrastinate. Sale ends tomorrow. It's $2.
Done after
Get
the
it?
show, Terry.
Get
Done.
it. Tell your friends to get it and go have some fun. And, you know, there's plenty of gore. It's got good, interesting characters. It's got the manga at the beginning to kind of get you fired up. And, yeah, it just have a good time. You know,
I
slice
like
and dice.
Scottish ninjas that are
And
nice.
the thing that makes this one a little different from your classic, you know, beat 'em ups is they
Yeah.
do use the right analog stick to control your swords and stuff versus it being a button smasher. So, you know, so it makes the combat a lot more fluid. So you can have a lot more fun playing around with your combos. So enjoy it.
Looks like Bob's playing
Awesome.
it already.
Yeah. That's
We
awesome.
can't hear. We
Oh,
can't
Bob,
hear you,
you're
Bob.
muted, sir.
Bob's doing what I
She said
do. I
two-
very often I'm playing a game while I want to show or something, and it drives you.
She
you know,
said
it's
$2,
like, how can
and
you
I'm
do
like,
that?
hold on, I got to go to the store.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah,
before it goes
I'm gonna
up.
do right now. Get it.
Come on,
Yeah,
now.
it's on-
Yeah,
it's
before the
on
sale is
already.
going. Yes, because everybody's got different, you know, time zones. So you know, don't miss it.
Okay.
Especially if you're over across the ocean, your sale's ending even sooner. So hurry it up.
I missed my chance.
Who's the publisher there? Because they owe you some commissions. I think you've made about 4 or 5 sales this morning.
Yeah.
This one's actually made
look
by
at
Mass
that.
Creation.
Really?
But yeah, so it's pretty cool little game.
There you go.
I could have AI generated Bob's voice and I missed the vote. Damn it!
Everybody's over there downloading on the show. It's hilarious. Like, I'm gonna get that.
My dog's even excited about it. She's all going crazy.
Alrighty. That's great.
What
Again,
voice
guys,
do you
it's on
want, Darth?
sale.
You want this voice, or you want this voice where I talk all?
Well, I'm
country
gonna do this voice like right here, okay?
like?
Like, KY's for Kentucky. Now take it and shove it back up your chocolate whizway. I'm tired of that.
It's Cletus here. Don't bring me into the conversation in case you're going to get out in the wire up in here.
Exactly.
$1.99, 90%
Wow.
off.
Oh man,
That's a steal of a deal, man. Like,
that's a
Buy.
Dollar Tree special, baby.
Buy.
I like it.
hot damn. I wonder if it's on sale.
Isn't it $1.50 tree now? It's no longer actually the dollar.
Shut up.
Right, that's like the
What do
dollar.
you got to be inconvenient? Yeah, it's called inflation. It sucks.
$1.25 store.
Nice.
Fucking a quarter.
All right,
Call
great
it-
stuff. There you go,
$1 Dollar
guys.
Tree to
It's
get
called
my
a
$2
game.
chuck. Yeah.
I was going to say they could just call it $2 chuck and jump it up a little bit. There you go.
It's called, and again, it's called Shing.
Shing!
Shing! I guess that's the sound of the sword. Isn't it the sound of the clash? Shing!
It's like Wayne's World.
Yeah, they were going to change the name of the Wolverine game to Schnicked. Yeah.
Well,
If you've not read
Doggy,
comics.
I got a suggestion for your iconic video games podcast because you guys would pull it off really good. You and Axel
What's that?
need to do Wayne and Girth from Wayne's World. You guys need to
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just have to put on the flannel. Yeah.
He's even got Girth's freaking hair.
Yeah,
Look
see,
at him.
it would take me much to
Huh?
get ready
Party
for the show.
chat.
To make it fun, they'll make
No.
him be Wayne. Force the guy with the
No.
long blonde
Yeah, there
hair.
you go. There you go, Paul. That's what Supersonic Station calls me.
Axel's
Darth.
kind of got that Wayne look going down, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, we give it to him.
I think you pull Garth off. You play Foxy Lady in the background, start dancing funky. That'd be good.
Except
Hey,
Axel
consider that.
always has Axel always has that 5-day shadow after 2 minutes after he shaves.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody's got a dog going nuts. He's excited about the deal. Shing!
Yeah.
Basta. All right. So, perfect example of what this show has been able to do, and largely in part to CoolcatTerri, which, unless you've been living under a rock, every single week she does the Indie Spotlight, and she has literally blown us away with the amount of incredible games she's actually brought to the forefront. Games a lot of us never heard of, games maybe it's forgotten about, and some new gems and some great deals too. So, today I wanted this to kind of be a developer focus. We all have our favorite developers. Maybe we even have favorite ones that we just don't even know the names of. But if you can think of some of your favorite games, chances are you probably like more than one game from that studio. It's usually it's a given, right? So I wanted to highlight everybody's sort of favorite developer or two or whatever, and it doesn't even have to be someone that's exclusive to Xbox, because I just want to say, like, me in particular, I come down hard sometimes on developers, and probably needless to say, unrightfully so. And after watching several episodes now of the very fantastic documentary about Double Fine over on YouTube, guys, you should go check it out, by the way. You kind of start to stop and realize that game making is an art, but it's a very hard art, and a lot of things change for developers from the time it goes from conception to the time it actually hits a physical release date. And your heart goes out to a lot of them, because it's hard enough to run any business, let alone a business that has hundreds of moving parts, people from different walks of life. You got to balance your life. Like we think that they live behind a panel and a desk all the time. We tend to seem to think, well, game making is the only thing that these guys are allowed to do. But they have lives outside of building games, and they all want the same thing that we want. They want to make a good game. They want it to be well received. They're human beings, like the rest of us. They go to their work, and like I said, and sometimes people like myself, and certainly I'm on the lighter scale, but some people in this community is absolutely trashing and tearing these people apart, and it's got to be hard. But just a few episodes into that just kind of makes you sit back and realize we're a little bit too hard on them sometimes, and I'm sure they're hard on themselves. But I do want to highlight developers and all the work that they do. We saw what a little bit more time and some love and attention to detail can do for a game like Hogwarts Legacy, Hogwarts Legacy, which a lot of people are loving right now, and I think would be a great game even if it wasn't associated with the lore of, the Harry Potter world, so to speak. So let's start with our guests, and we're going to start with Darth, Praxis, and come around. So Praxis, hope you had a chance to think about this. Who are some of the developers you really admire right now, and some of your favorite pieces of work, and perhaps list the developer you think is an up and coming one, if you can. If you need some time to think, we can pass it down.
Yeah, I was thinking more of people that nobody's ever really heard of, and then I kind of have one that is, oddly enough, who's a super indie developer. He's a solo game maker that has reached out to a bunch of different people, including me, to help make a game that is still in alpha right now. I think he just is in the final version of alpha. But if you know of somebody, Tim Surrett, he's actually the founder of Odd Tales Games, and unfortunately, that game, the last night looked amazing, is still just in limbo, and I am not entirely sure what is keeping that from coming out. But I've friended him on Twitter and discussed things with him for a long time. He's actually an incredibly intelligent person, very interesting person to talk to. Has a lot of insights and is really cool. But I would love to see somebody like him take off. And sadly, I haven't seen anything, like I said, from him in quite a while. I've talked to him not too long ago. But as far as the game, man, it's just, like I said, when I say it's in limbo, it's way in limbo. I have no idea if it's ever going to be released. But things like that. And then the person I'm talking with, or the person I'm working with, he goes by Roz Bazzi on Twitter, and he has a racing game that I was able to get involved with and do the voice work for the menu selection screens and all the track names and everything. So that was really cool. Yeah, I could definitely hear it was you doing that thing. Yeah, that's great. Being a silly bastard. That's a joke. Yeah. So little plug there. Give us a sample, Darth. Give us a sample. What? Oh, of when you announce the tracks or whatever. Oh, it's just like what is it? American Raceway, stuff like that. Just simple. It's just announcer voice. That's all. Yeah, it reminds me. It reminds me of the old, the games in the Sega Saturn era and stuff like that. Well, and virtual racing is kind of its big. That's what he used as inspiration. But it was '90s racing games, Daytona USA. That's what I was using as inspiration. Sega was the big inspiration. Yeah. Yeah. Sega had those. Yeah, always had those cool intros. Track 2, Sunshine Coast. Yeah. Game over, yeah. Nice, great stuff. There's a lot of great developers, and some are fantastic indies. And some are built by one or two people. We had Kaleki Apakiyama on our show. I think it was last year, the year before last. It was a great little interview with him. He's still busy building his game there. The name eludes me for the moment, but Terry, do you remember what it was? That RPG one? Do you remember
which RPG?
Remember we had Kaleki Apakiyama on here to talk about that game he was building? Paul, do you remember?
I don't think I was there for that show. I don't think I was there for that show.
It'll come back to me, but you got a guy like making the Song of Iron game, and he was so accessible to the community. He was on several, I think, of Boomstick shows, and he was making some rounds. And I encourage any small, Song of Iron. Sean brings up, it was a cool one-man indie game, building everything himself, learning on the fly, and took a lot of what he's learned from the first game and the feedback from the community to currently in the process of building the second game, which probably looks like it'll be even better than the first. I don't know if anybody played Song of Iron on here, but a lot of people
that's a great game.
Great little game. Kind of using the shadow and all sorts of cool little combat mechanics. But that's to say that they come on and be a part of the show and everything else. And I really love the indie devs too, because they can come on and talk, because every time I try to reach out to the corporate people, I'm always getting a load of crap all the time. It's always, I got to go through PR. I got to do this, got to do that. And it's like, oh my Lord. Like, you know what I mean? It's just such a gong show to try to get anyone from a big studio to come on a podcast, unless you're a well-renowned podcast, I guess, or completely endorsed by the big publishers. But yeah, like
don't feel bad. Even us on 4GQ TV, and we have credentials with Viacom and CBS and stuff. We can't get some of the big guys.
Yeah, we were trying to get one of the girls, one of the dev girls on here from Obsidian. Eternal Shaddai had reached out to her, and things looked like it was pretty much a go. And then I kind of get the cold shoulder for a couple of weeks, and then she comes back and like PR and all this. I'm like, never mind. Like, it is what it is.
When you got to go through PR,
yeah, absolutely. Got to go through PR. You got to get everything endorsed and improved and stuff like that. And it's like, we, at least my intention is never to bring some dev on to trying to throw them on their bus. I mean, I'm not trying to expose anything. We like to know the process behind the games. That's all we're interested in knowing. How they come from conception to finalization and the work that goes beyond it. And that's how you understand a bit more too, like what they're going through and the trials and tribulations. So, Doggy Doug. Let's go with you next. Do you have any developers that get your fur up in a knot?
Let's see. I'm not too into all the developers stuff. Let's see. One that made a game here recently. I know it's a big game. I don't know if it's game of the year or nominated. Was Acid Nerve, who made Death's Door. I thought they did a great job at that.
Acid
I don't
Nerve?
know. Yeah, I don't know if they've ever made any other games, but they could.
That's a cool
after
name.
that game, they could be aware developer. They've worked on stuff like Overwatch, Fortnite, Diablo 3, and they made a really killer game. They made some junk ones since then too, but Killer Instinct for Xbox, back at the Xbox One when it first came out. Iron Galaxy. I know they made some
Iron
jumpers,
Galaxy, yeah.
but they've worked on some good games. What is that? Some support on there. So. I know wasn't Rumble versus their game. I know that one wasn't really that great or nothing, but they got something they could put out there. And also, Milkstone is a little indie developer, and they've made some cool games. So I don't know if they'll make a big game, but I just want to throw them out there. They're pretty cool. Farm Together is an awesome game.
That's just it. With the right financing and backing, that's where a lot of them end up, right? Or sometimes they break down in the studio, and some of their talents go on to the bigger studios. But that's where it starts, man.
Yeah, they're awesome little developer. They made some cool games. So, and if Traveler's Tales would ever go away from those Lego games, like make their own
I've heard
make
that
their own adventure game. Yeah, I thought I heard that too, but
unless that's a rumor, but I heard that they're planning to actually make like other games now that they're kind of and I don't blame them if that studio's done with Legos. You can't blame them. They've been making the Lego games since the early 360 era, and how many games have they made now that are Lego based? Like about 20 odd.
But that Skywalker Saga was pretty good, and if they could just go out and make their own adventure game, and you've done so many of them, I don't see how you couldn't. And you're funny too; they're funny, so I think they'd be a good developer. Could make something big that wasn't Lego, that everybody could enjoy.
Absolutely, good picks, Doggy. You're making Terry smile this morning, because you got the indie devs going up there, so that's great. Any more? Who would you say, Doggy, is one of your most overrated, or is that something you have to think about and come back to?
Overrated.
There's always some devs that get so much, they get all this love, but at the same time, it's just like they're not that good. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Whoever develops Madden every year is overrated because you don't ever change anything. I don't know, like something like that. You'd have to give you a little time on that. But yeah, there's probably plenty of those.
The Madden, that's up here. I think that's Visual Concepts out of BC for EA.
Yeah. You guys need to step it up. I mean, you guys have to.
Those guys, I don't know. Like when it comes to the sports, I feel bad for them because they're probably got a lot of talents and they're really great at doing the genre that they do. But at the same time, like they're stuck doing that kind of like forever. You know what I mean? And how do you improve on a sports game? Like sports they're kind of set. Like your ground rules are. That's the reason they come out every year, because they basically do just take a copy and paste formula for the most part, and they just throw in a few add-ons, up the graphics or whatever a little bit, and they call it a day.
Yep.
Right.
I'd have to throw shade at a company that I actually enjoy what they've made for the last few years. That it's incredible. Bungie, I would say, talk about a company that's kind of stuck. They haven't done anything but Destiny since 2016 or 2014. Since 2014, that's it. And so that's a long time. And the game does show that they've been putting a lot of time into it. But it also says something. It's like, what else are you doing? Well, nothing. That's it. That's all we do. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's like resting on their laurels a little too much, I think.
Indeed.
That's a good point, Sean.
Was it? Yeah, was it? Joe, yeah, Joe from Sonic X Bungie Dev. I'm not sure. Maybe he was. I can't remember.
He might have been.
A lot of them are ex-devs, or they had some experiences somewhere. Okay, back from the deads in the building. What's going on? Sean is here as well. Ice Queen Gaming still hanging out with us. Eternal Shadai is in the building. Good morning, Eternal. We missed you, buddy. I hope you're having a good day. Eric the Red's hanging out with us this morning. Toolman55, always Cola in the building here as well. Nice to meet you, and happy. Thanks for coming out. Happy Cloud Gamer, all the way from Scandinavia, joining us this morning. Jason Max is in the building, and as always, each week he says, "Just remember, Xbox is number one." All right. He has the same comment every week. It's funny. And a lot of good people in here this morning. Again, thank you so much for the love and support. Please like, share, and subscribe if you can. Share this out. Put it on your social media. See if we can get some more people up in this building. Tim A is here as well. Dan Amand Cunningham. What's going on, brother? All right, so let's get over to Bob. Bob says he's got one on his list that might surprise us. So, Bob, what is it, brother? What's your top dev? Maybe what's one of your underrated devs and one of your overrated devs?
So, let's start with underrated dev. Underrated dev, Squanch Games. High on Life. Come on now. It broke Game Pass records. And they're obviously somebody... nab them up, Xbox, wink, wink. Get those guys. But yeah, Squanch Games with High on Life. Yes, it is the whole Rick and Morty kind of humor, and that kind of has an audience of its own. But I mean, it was good. I mean, it was nicely done. It wasn't broken, which was a nice thing to finally see. The one that I think is going to surprise everybody is kind of like my rags to riches story. Okay. And a studio that started out with their game only being on Xbox Live. I believe it was one of the first Xbox Live exclusive games. And they've really, to this day, they're in deep development right now, though. So we haven't heard anything from them for a while. But after they released a game, they stayed in touch with the community every month. And every month they added something to their game. And every month they would do like a dive where it's just a couple guys on webcams showing gameplay and whatnot. And that is Undead Labs, the rags to riches story. State of Decay was an Xbox Live exclusive. State of Decay 2, yes, it had its issues because it was peer-to-peer. I don't understand in this day and age why we're still playing games peer-to-peer. It should have been a server-based game, especially being with Microsoft after the acquisition. Using Azure, that should have been a server-based game. We should have never had the connection and multiplayer issues that we had. But with State of Decay 2, every month they came out into the community on YouTube and they did like an hour to 2 hour long dive on what they're working on and give gameplay of what they're working on and show new weapons that they're getting ready to add to the game. And they were just fantastic. And they've never lost that charm, even though that they are part of one of the largest publishing bodies in the world now. They've never lost that little dog,
right? That
underdog charm. Undead Labs is, I have to say, they're probably one of my favorite developers. As far as overrated, this is going to shock a lot of people, but hear me out. Overrated, Naughty Dog. They are overrated. I mean, I know. Okay, look.
I agree 100%.
Somebody's got your back,
look.
Bob.
And 3 of the viewers just left
So they are good at their narrow, simplistic template. That is just dispiriting to see them not try harder in a game. Okay, they make games that are fundamentally the same, and they don't seem all that interested in evolving their gameplay or giving you more control over their stories. We talk about how, a lot of the Sony adventure action adventure games it's almost like copy and paste. It's the same viewpoints, almost same controls, and Naughty Dog really started that. It's because all their games are just, copy and paste. Instead of this hero, you got this hero. Instead of this enemy, you got this enemy. Instead of this scenery, you have this scenery. But everything else is, if you played one, you played them all. Kind of like an RTS game almost. Oh, RTS games on PC. How they come to console, whether or not it's adapted well for controllers. Take note on Age of Empires 2. They did a phenomenal job. But yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Bob's done.
There you go. Great picks from Bob, coming in hot and heavy, yes, and definitely a big surprise with his overrated studio. But you're not the only one in the chat, and CoolcatTerri has your back on that one. So you give validation for your points, and fair enough. To each their own. I can't wait to see what Paul is going to bring to the table on this one. CerebralPaul, favorite dev, underrated dev, and overrated.
I don't know. I don't do devs. I mean, yeah, I do games, and somebody says, "Oh, that dev did that." Okay, cool, sweet. I will say, I can't wait to see what the dev of Hogwarts Legacy is going to bring us next. If they stick to that same type of storytelling, but in a different venue, so to say. That's one thing I've been saying for a long time. I would love to see a Robin Hood story-driven game, a proper Robin Hood story-driven game in a setting like that. I think it could be so well done because the technology is there now. As far as overrated, not going to surprise anybody. EA, because talk about copy and paste bullshit. Okay, Sometimes they forget to copy and paste the new stuff.
Yeah, they forget to take the old year off and put the new year on. I know.
Use some crappy paste.
In their defense, though, unless the sport that they're making a game, unless that sport drastically changes, the game can't.
Well, but they have so much talent there. They could do more beyond those sports games. There's no way those sports games are taking hours upon hours upon hours to do.
Oh yeah. You raise a great point, Paul. Because even when it comes to EA, like when was the last time you saw them really go out and make like a big new IP? Well, I suppose you could say, what was
Fallen Order wasn't them. Fallen Order wasn't them. They were just a distributor. They were just
Yeah, like EA really hasn't come out and made a whole lot of original stuff in the last few years, have they?
No, they really haven't.
Back in the early days,
they're more of a publishing house than a developer now. Really, I mean,
and they go back and make $1 billion. They're on their billionth Need for Speed game now.
Those aren't good.
So
I remember, back in the olden days, EA was king, man. You saw an EA thing and you were like, oh wow.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
Well, even before sports,
I know. I remember.
Sports as well.
Long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to be known for more diversity. Like when they had the Sims and the Genesis era, they had games like Immortal, and there was there was a lot of different games that they would have publishers and developers for. And now it's just kind of like, they're the sports guys, and obviously snapping up Respawn and putting them under their banner, sort of thing. And everybody wants a Titanfall 3. Where is it?
Yeah,
we got Apex Legends, so screw Titanfall.
Yeah.
Let's basically take Titanfall, steal things from it, and make a game, and then make it free to play.
Well, and then they've turned around and they've had good, like the whole Anthem fiasco,
Right.
Instead
Anthem
of fixing it and making
so
it better,
good.
they just threw it under the bus. You know, it's
It
like-
could have been better. I'd
Yeah.
say.
There you
Anthem
go.
didn't even have enough content to finish the main freaking story.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, really? And it had the best
Yeah.
flight mechanics. It was like, oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah,
I know.
It was
Got
like
nothing left to do.
it was the Iron Man simulator is what it was. It was
Which was
amazing.
fine.
For that.
It was, but
Oh,
even
no, it was
somebody
great.
like me, who has flying issues in games, loved the flight mechanics of that game. They were perfect. I could
Oh, yeah.
move around and move around, and
Just didn't know what to do with it for some reason.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So much
And then
potential.
instead of making it better, or giving us Anthem 2 with the improvements, they just said, chuck the whole thing. You know, you
Right.
guys can go back and work on Madden 23 and 24. Congratulations. You know, it's like.
Well, I know
Yeah.
this doesn't appeal to everybody, but they did release a new IP just this last week, which actually is an excellent game from what I've heard from people. I haven't bought it yet, and I'm curious to do it. And it's a Monster Hunter. It's their version of Monster Hunter called Wild Hearts. And actually, from what I've heard from people, it's pretty amazing, especially from the Monster Hunter community, because that community is pretty deep. Like I said, Newf's like 25 hours, 50 hours, 70, 100 hours in a game. That's rough. I put like almost 800 into Monster Hunter World, so that's that. And I was scratching the surface compared to some of the other players. Oh my!
What in the world is that?
What is going on, bro?
Somebody doesn't like EA either.
Is that your dog, Doggy? I see
Yeah,
him moving
yeah.
around
She
back there.
sees something on the. She barks at the TV all the time. She's so crazy.
Yeah, we got the dog. That's kind of funny. We got the dog going through the background on his screen, and Terry's got the cat just laying down, all chilling up on her screen.
Yeah. He's catching it good.
Mine are downstairs in the kennel. That's they're not around my neck.
Apparently,
like,
Doggy's
right
dog
up
doesn't
on my
like
head.
whatever he's seeing on TV on Sunday morning, which you know,
Yeah.
Came in, took one look at Bob. He's got upset. Oh, great chats. Anything else on Paul?
let's see. No, that's pretty much it. I'm like I said, I don't really follow different publishers too
That's
closely.
fair.
I like
That's
what
fair.
I like. I don't, you know.
I understand. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I didn't expect everybody to have a big essay on this one, but it's just fun to talk about and see where we're at and the kind of people that we like. Definitely, I know CoolcatTerri's going to bring it on this one for sure, because she's kind of in tune with that side of the gaming stuff. And like I said, she's always the one that brings in some great indie devs. So I'm curious to hear what she's got to say.
All right, so for me, it should be obvious when it comes to the underappreciated, because I pretty much praise every single one of their games they ever made. It's going to be Spiders, hands down. I feel
Chill. I'm sorry.
Spiders, they make good games. They make really good quality games, and I feel like they could do so much more if they just had a better budget. And that's what's really holding them back is their budget. So for those of you who have no clue who the heck Spiders is, they're the ones that made Greedfall and Steel Rising. Greedfall 2 is coming. My Bound by Flame, which I praised so many times on this show. They make fantastic RPGs that are in the style of what BioWare does. So if you're a fan of BioWare, they make very similar games, and yeah, they're fantastic. And just no one like they don't get really hardly any praise for any of the things they do. They got some good games out there. They're super underappreciated, and they need some love because they got a creative team, and they. And their studio has been growing. I remember when they had like a real small team, and now they have like over 70 people. So they're growing. But yeah, they really just need to get that budget to where they can just knock it out of the park, and it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But and then when it comes to, I could do an entire show just on games that are like studios that I feel are just overhyped. Like there's a plethora of them, and I'm happy that KY brought up Naughty Dog, because they're definitely high on my list of overrated studios. For those that want to check it out, I'm going to do a little shameless plug. I do have a rant on my YouTube channel where I sit there and I go in on all the entire Uncharted series and how it's just copy paste, and they use the exact same freaking puzzles in every goddamn game. So freaking go and check it out. I can post a link if Newf agrees. Otherwise, just go search my YouTube channel, and I go in on that because Naughty Dog is on one with their laziness when it comes to their game design. But anyways, the one that I will pick then, since that one was taken, is going to be Rockstar, 100%, super overrated. They make one game every freaking 20 years, and everyone acts like they're gods.
Wow.
Come on. You make one game every 20 years? If that, get out of here. Look at the, we go from them having, they had like this great library of games that everybody freaking loves, and then they just said, you know what, screw the library, we're just going to be a master of one, which is GTA, and we're going to, basically do Skyrim with GTA, where we just re-release the same freaking game on every generation, and not make a new one, And it's just, it's upsetting.
Well,
it's very upsetting.
They just became a DLC distributor is all they did for
like
money.
Bring back Midnight Club. Everybody wants it. Bring back Max Payne and Manhunter. Any of your games that you guys have been sleeping on for decades.
Table tennis and bully. There you go. Let's do those.
Bring the stuff back. I don't give a rat's about GTA. And I feel like you guys have just been living off of, for the longest time, you've been living off of the fact that people have grown respect because of the games that you have from the past.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not you anymore. You are just GTA, all about GTA. I mean, you brought back Red Dead, but then that was even short-lived. All right, so you're all about GTA. So it's just no.
Yeah, it's all about the money for them. It's not about making creative games anymore.
I'm so sick of Rockstar and how everyone acts like they're God mode. They're not God mode. All right, if they were God mode, they'd be releasing games instead of once every 2 decades. All right,
they would have taken the time for GTA Trilogy to actually do what they did for what Mafia's developers did, and actually remaster the games and make them look amazing, which they could have used the GTA 5 engine. And how much time they had between the release of GTA 5 on the 360, which I own that version, to now.
Yeah, 3 generations.
Three generations. I got LA Noire. Noire. It's like. They don't make anything, like that anymore.
Yeah, they had plenty of time to do it, and they had a mobile developer take the mobile games and release them on full-fledged consoles. Mm-hmm. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Midnight
it's ridiculous.
Club, to have that.
Midnight Club would be amazing.
Give us that.
Wow, great picks.
We need to tear them off that pedestal that they've been sitting on, because they don't deserve to be on that pedestal, in my opinion.
That's a great point.
Hey, as long as they're raking in the money, they don't care. I don't think. Seriously.
Oh no.
No, obviously they made it clear they don't care. They're making money, and they're making money with the minimal effort at this point. So it's just add a couple of cars, add a couple of skins, blah blah blah, add all that kind of stuff, and it's just now it's time to wait till GTA 6 comes. It'll probably be around for the next 20 years.
I jumped on Bungie for just going Destiny. At least they released a second game,
which I don't get with Rockstar, because Rockstar has multiple studios from different places. They have Rockstar North, they have Rockstar San Diego. Like it's not just one Rockstar. So what's going on at the other studios? Did they all put all their eggs in one basket and they're all making the same game, or what is going on?
Well, I don't know. They have pulled support, and they, as far as new content and stuff, for Red Dead Online. So they did that last year. Because they were focused on the stupid driving game.
GTA. Like that's all they live and breathe GTA, and it's just like
they got the Midas touch. There's no excuse for them to say, well, we don't have the finances to keep making games, because they don't need every game to be 40 or 50 hours long or whatever. It's a great pick from Terry, because she's got valid points here. It's like, you do have a talented
It's the
studio.
same complaint I have about I have about EA. They have the money, they have the resources. They just choose not to use it.
Oh, speaking of time in game, I have to jump on Doggy here. Doggy, you're wrong, buddy. I looked it up actually for Atomic Heart. It's 25 hours for the whole game.
Oh, okay. And there's 5 parts. There's 25. Okay.
Potentially 40 hours to complete all the side quests.
So there's 5 areas, but it only takes 25 hours to complete.
Yeah, essentially, that's what they said. Somebody did a review.
About the same size as Hogwarts.
And that's why I said I might have took what they said wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
somebody did a review, but it's basically like a review without going in depth, and they went and how much time that it could take to do it, and what it would take, and what's taken. So I was like, oh, okay, but that's about all I could find on it.
Okay,
as far as reviews, the embargo is still
by 100
sitting.
hours then. Yeah.
Indeed.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, Terry, I know you weren't finished. You had some more.
This is pretty much it. Like I could do an entire show just ranting about all the studios that I freaking think that need a good, switch.
Did you pick an underrated one?
I did. Spiders.
Oh, spiders. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Not that you. Yes. You've highlighted their games on this show. Absolutely. Bound for Blood and is it
Bound by
Bound?
Flame.
No, Bound by
Bound by
Flame.
Flame.
Bound by
Yeah,
Flame.
but
Yeah.
Greedfall 2 is the one that they're working on right now, and I'm super excited because Greedfall was great. It was great.
Awesome stuff. And none of their games are on Game Pass, are they?
No.
Okay. And did they publish themselves or no?
Yes, so they developed and published. Wait, no, they Nacon is their publisher, their parent company.
Okay.
Nacon does the publishing. They just make all their games.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess it's down to me, and I got some good ones. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
All right. So I'm going to start with best indie dev, or at least one that I feel has tons of potential. It's one of my favorite indie games ever. I love the art style. The game was cute. It was creepy. It was just awesome. And that is the Little Nightmare franchise from Tarsier. I love those games. I think they're amazing. Just the character designs got that little bit of a Tim Burton feel going on. And I feel that this is a studio that has a ton of potential, that could definitely go places if given the budgets and everything else behind it. So I'm going to give the best indie to Tarsier, simply from that fact that very few indie games are able to pull me in the way that game actually pulled me in. I really loved it. I thought it was genius, a little bit of puzzles, but just it didn't overcomplicate itself. It was fun to play, and it looked really cool. Like I said, it was one of those games that almost has that sort of almost like a AAA vibe, potentially, if you guys know where I'm going at, but it's not, obviously. So so Tarsier, and let's see here. Yes, I will go with next I'm going to go Underrated Studio. And this is one I've loved their games for years and years and years, and they've made a variety of games. Unlike my Overrated Studio, I'm going to get to in a second, this studio has been known to branch off and make a bunch of different games that don't look or feel the same, but yet they're still story-driven heavy. Ninja Theory. Okay, I mean, Ninja Theory goes back to, remember Heavenly Sword, on the PlayStation 3?
Oh, yeah.
Amazing little game. Great game back in the day. I mean, look at those guys. They just, Hellblade, just amazing. I can't wait for the sequel. So they obviously have talent. They're working on that Project Mara. Is it Project Mara or something? They've done a bunch of different games, Ninja Theory. They went out and they did their own version of Devil May Cry, which was highly received by a lot of people. They had that the really cool game that a lot of people are hoping for a sequel for, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. So like a lot of people forget that Ninja Theory has been doing some stuff and doing some really good stuff. And again, they know graphics. They know how to make games shine, or certainly look very, very well, and play pretty damn good to boot. So underrated is Ninja Theory. They don't get enough love, that sort of thing. So I definitely want to put them into that category. Another underrated, I think, who's definitely very talented, but they're kind of almost in the mold of making sort of the same thing too many. And Paul might like this pick. Supermassive Games, the team behind Until Dawn and pretty much all of those, the Dark Pictures Anthem or Anthology.
Yep, and the Dark Pictures Anthology. Yep, I love Supermassive.
Dude, how many games have they pumped out in the last few years? And we talk about, how some developers get complacent. Well, this is one who hasn't been sitting around, let me tell you. I mean, they've done Until Dawn. They did that whole anthology. Then they made that other one that came out last year, The Quarry. And now they even got the PSVR 2 one coming out next week. Switchback, I think it's called. Like, holy shit, these guys. That's like about 8 or 9 games within like pretty much since Until Dawn came out. And that wasn't even that long ago. Right?
It does help that they recycle their character assets and they use the exact same ones in every game. But
well, that's kind of why I said, like, they do kind of borrow the same form, which is obviously there's got to be a key there in how they can pump these things out in that timely fashion, right? I mean, they're kind of scripted games, so they don't have to worry about the AI problems and algorithms going off the rails like games that have tons of AI and tons of moving parts, I guess you could say, right? But still, I think they're underrated. They don't get enough love. They made very consistently good titles. I love their stuff. I think they're a lot of fun. They're fun to replay and see your choices. They took Telltale games to sort of a different level. So I still think Until Dawn was still my favorite piece of work from them, but I do love their games, and I'm actually excited to play Switchback VR on the PSVR 2. It looks absolutely insane. So good stuff right there. And then I guess I'm going to say overrated. Yes, I will. I will go with you guys on this one, Naughty Dog. Not that I do love Naughty Dog. Don't get me wrong. I think they're phenomenal. What they do extremely well, right? They've got great character animations. They're good at storytelling. Their games have these almost living worlds, per se, especially when it comes to The Last of Us, which feels a little bit less, action movie centric like Uncharted, and has more of the adventure, get into the character arcs and stuff like that. And they've taken some risks there. But again, at the same time, they've almost sort of built like the same game and over time. So Naughty Dog, yes, I think they're a little bit overrated. It would be nice to see them try some different stuff, and which is going to come down to my favorite studio. And this was a tough one, boy. I really wanted to give it to Coalition, but that's kind of unfair because they've only been making Gears, and Gears kind of had some ups and downs. But I'm going to give my favorite to Insomniac, and I'm going to tell you why. Because first of all, their games, every single one of them, look absolutely incredible. And that's the thing. Think about Insomniac. They went from making the Resistance Fall of Man series to making Spider-Man to making Sunset Overdrive to making Ratchet and Clank to making, these guys have done so many different games, different genres, different games, but they're all hits. That is crazy. How do these guys manage to keep knocking it out of the park all the time? These guys are incredible, and at a pretty decent clip too, I might add. I mean, you've had Spider-Man Miles Morales, and yes, I'm going to give it, I've said it before, yes, there's a little bit of a copy and paste formula there. You got the same city, you just got to add new stuff and change the characters' animation, but still, you got to give credit where credit's due. They still manage to pump stuff out when other studios stagnate. Ratchet and Clank, the fact that they got that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and that's just an incredible game. These guys know what they're doing. Sunset Overdrive, one of the most criminally underrated or certainly underappreciated games on the Xbox One platform. It was amazing. It was a ton of fun. It had a totally different art style, but yet it still looked incredible. But it had sort of a little bit of comic-y stuff. Like I said, Insomniac has been doing just great stuff. And I hope that one of these days, maybe they bring back the Resistance Fall of Man IP. There's a lot of fans who would like to see it. I think that was an underappreciated shooter back in the PS3 era. And that's part of the problem, right? Because it came out in the PS3 era where we're obviously in a different day and age, and shooters are the be-all, end-all. And with their pedigree now and their name recognition, I think they could certainly revive it and be successful. So, yeah, and they got the new Wolverine game coming out here, which would be in a couple of years, and I have high hopes for that. I'm sure it'll be really good. So Insomniac, I got to say, is there because they can make good games, but their diversity is great as well. So I'm gonna have to give it with them. So some fantastic developers out there. So many, too many to mention, but those are some of my picks.
Insomniac was actually the reason I bought a PS3, because at that time in my gaming career, Resistance Fall of Man, that was my jam. I mean, I really loved those type of dystopian games like that. It made me get a PS3 just so I could play those.
Absolutely. Guerrilla, something similar to it. Guerrilla Games, another fantastic studio that didn't just rest on its Killzone laurels. They went out and made Horizon. We'll see where they go from here. I don't want them to become just simply the Horizon studio moving forward. And I don't think they will. I think they're going to branch out and do other things, but highly talented, and you got to give it to I think it was even, I don't think it was Keosante or maybe it was Ham Solo. I forget who it was, but they said, Guerrilla Games is one of the first studios in their mind that actually did black people right. And what they mean is that just the look and the hair and stuff like that, where a lot of studios struggle with making especially the hair, actually look realistic. They always kind of look very the same. So, kudos to them. I think Guerrilla is making the best character models out there that I've seen. I think the best animation I've ever seen doing a character models had to go to LA Noire. That was insane. That was almost a game in itself with LA Noire and the detail level they had on those faces. That was nuts. We haven't seen many studios get to that same pedigree as that game ever since. At least I don't think so.
Yeah, I loved those interrogation scenes in LA Noire. They were nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Any further thoughts or people in the chat? Do you guys have developers you think don't get enough love? Jago says Horizon bored me to death. The first one was better. I'm going to agree with you, Jago. I will agree with you because I think the second game, while it was better in some aspects, two things I've said about it. It overstayed its welcome. It was a little bit too long, dragged out. And second thing, they're overcomplicating the weapon wheel in that game. Right? They made it to the point where some of the weapons basically became useless. Oh, I'm getting another bow so I can fire a different type of arrow. And it just I don't know, it just got a little bit nutty, do you know what I mean? And a lot of it was just unnecessary. You want games to make every weapon feel like it's necessary in the play of things. I mean, I guess it's to change up diversity in combat, but at the same time, it's just like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like, just simplify it. If you can't fit all your weapons on one wheel, you got to go to a sub menu and a sub menu.
Oh.
Like, come on, guys, get rid of that. That's just nuts. Come on, right? And then you're picking the wrong weapons all the time because you gotta put everything to a quick button, and then you gotta switch it out, and you're just like, ugh.
Oh, no wonder you'd hate Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah. So
I wanna add Deck 13 as an underappreciated.
Deck 13, yes.
Deck 13. They've done great work when it comes to like Lords of the Fallen, and I just think it's it's a wonderful game. They got the new one coming out, so. It's one studio that doesn't get enough praise, and Focus needs to hold on to them because they definitely have some great talent.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And my only recommendation for all those devs that like making those really hard games, my only suggestion is please, if you can't make them easier and you don't want to because you're afraid you're going to piss off a certain section of the fan base, give us ample checkpoints, lots of checkpoints. Okay, that's all I ask of you. Sucker Punch, yeah, there's another good stand. From an Xbox standpoint, then, okay, so let's just reel this back in before we close out the show and stuff because we still got some time here. Who, in your mind, is Xbox's best studio right now? Consistently, maybe it doesn't really matter what your reason is, and who's the developer do you think has plenty of potential but hasn't kind of gotten there, or maybe fell off the wagon? Let's go back around. Dark Praxis, favorite Xbox dev.
Come back to me. I gotta think about that one.
Let's go with Doggy Dog. Favorite Xbox dev and one of their devs that you wish you'd see more from.
Let's see. I know my favorite Xbox dev has to be Playground Games, of course, for the Forza Horizon. Love those. Is my internet cutting out? Am I still coming through good, or is it like choppy?
No, you're there.
Good now.
Okay.
There was a couple blips there. Yeah.
I don't know about the one that's fallen off the wagon. Yeah, come back to me on that one until I'll try and think.
All right, let's head over to Bob. Bob, favorite Xbox studio? I think you might have said it earlier, but anyway, which one's your favorite? And which one kind of fell off the wagon and you wish it would come back in a bigger way?
Well, yeah, my favorite Xbox dev is Undead Labs.
Okay.
And the one that kind of fell off the wagon and I wish they'd come back, 343.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would say.
Can we go back and please? I mean, you had a great story and not so great multiplayer on Halo 4, and then you had awesome multiplayer and not so great story on Halo 5. Can we just put those back together? Can we put them together, please, and give a solid, complete game? Yep.
I actually enjoyed Halo 5 more than Infinite, honestly. The story, I enjoyed that more.
Well, yeah.
For me, it hit better,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, they've gone downhill. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's get up to CerebralPaul. Paul, how about yourself, man? Favorite Xbox dev right now, and perhaps one that you'd like to see a little bit more from?
I mean, I'm just gonna, again, the only one I can really think of that I really enjoy all of their stuff is Bethesda ZeniMax because of the going back to Morrowind and going back to Skyrim and all that. Basically that's my last 22 years of gaming right there. So and Fallout and all that. So yeah, that's got to be them. As far as falling off, I don't know. I really couldn't. Probably the Halo group.
Right.
That kind of fell apart, and they should have handled that better earlier on. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it became quite obvious there was definitely something amiss at 343. Hopefully they get it remedied and they move forward. I mean, I think there's still tons of potential there. But again, at the end of the day, you can have tons of potential. It's like saying that you got a kid that goes to school and he's very smart and gets triple A's, but he's too lazy to get himself out of the house and probably never have a good job in his life because he's just so happy to just be there. So yeah, you're like, yeah, my kid's got tons of potential. He's really smart, but he's lazy as old shit, and he's going to live in my
but
basement.
there's got to be a time in there. There's got to be a time in there you get to see him see a specialist. You know, it's like,
You're gonna see the counselor, son. We got to
there's
get you out of this damn house.
Studios out there that need a few specialists, I think, for sure. But again, there's a lot of us fans out there who could probably see a specialist too. I'm probably one.
Well, I would say I got a 5-way tie actually. Coalition, Playground Games, Obsidian, Turn 10, Ninja Theory. Those are my. I think they're all right there with each other. I think they're really amazing. 343, yeah, they have. That was the one I was trying to think of, and when he mentioned it, I was like, yep, they're the ones that unfortunately have really fallen by the wayside, and they were promoted, and then it's like, God, it just felt like Infinite was so, I don't know, it was so overhyped, and we're gonna do this, and they bring it out, and it's like such a lackluster. That they my problem was, how could they not have seen that with our eyes? How did they look at that and go, that's okay? No, it's not.
No, I still think a lot of it was they bit off more than they could chew with the whole new engine. They really probably didn't know what the engine could or couldn't do, so their eyes were bigger than their stomach.
Yeah, but then
I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, but they still brought it out and said, here it is, and you're like, what is that?
Once they dove into it that deep, I don't think they saw a way out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you don't go, hey, by the way, here's. I guess they were cornered because they had to show something, so they showed what they had, and it was terrible, and everybody's like, oh my god, what are you doing? So
yeah, and they probably earnestly kept working and trying to get some of the stuff.
Oh, I know they did, but yeah, like you said, I think they did. They were buried and they couldn't figure it out, and the pandemic didn't help anybody, and it definitely hurt them. I think probably more than we know, to do something that created that. Yeah. I would say, as far as what Microsoft owns now, it might sound odd, but I think the foundational backbone of an incredible studio that has immense capabilities of being able to influence other studios and help them, believe it or not, is ID Soft. Because ID Soft can go in and do mechanics and changes. I mean, they had to help, I think, with Starfield. Was it Starfield? No. What was another game that they? Damn it, I'm thinking of it. They had to help with the mechanics for shooting, and they had to come in and basically build it for them and say, hey, this is what you have to do to make a good shooter. What was that? They were involved directly with. It was a game
relatively recently.
It was a recent game that they were involved with, and they had to help them.
It may have even been Redfall. Wasn't it Redfall?
It was Redfall. That's what it was. And they went in with that. I thought it was Starfield, but yeah, Redfall. They were like, yeah, we're not sure what to do with the shooting mechanics. And ID's like, well, you do this here. Let's help you. But because of that kind of capability, that, in my opinion, would lend itself to go across the entire publisher group for Xbox. And I think that's kind of a hidden talent that might help everybody eventually. Who knows?
My understanding is a lot of under those Microsoft umbrella, a lot of that happens anyway, where they do. Here, let me help you out. Let me check this out.
A lot of sharing the load, which is a good thing. But you have that many studios. I mean, that's also a benefit compared to somebody like we were talking about, like Rockstar, even as big as they are, having all these different studios with all their varied talents in all the different genres, being able to walk in and go, hey, what are you struggling with? Let's take a look at that. Which also goes against 343. And why the fuck didn't somebody not go in and say, what is wrong with you? What is going on here? Or maybe it was the sacred cow and nobody wanted to say anything to them. I don't know. There's some interesting things.
You bring up a good point there, because we've even seen when Sea of Thieves was being made.
Yeah.
Who went in and helped them with the water to make the water look as realistic as it possibly could. That was
arguably the most amazing part of that game is the water.
Yeah. But it was, that's exactly what they did. The studios were working together, and when it came to 343, it was like every other developer with Xbox Studios was like, you're on your own, dude. Like, what the hell?
A lot of that could also come down to nobody knows the engine except for those working at 343.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's also
you
painting
can't bring
yourself
in
in a corner.
experienced people when nobody has experience.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
Well, yeah.
this is great.
Definitely painted themselves in a corner in that regard. Then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. I think that had a large part. It definitely put them behind the 8 ball right from the get go. So we'll see how that works out. Paul, favorite studio, Xbox studio, and perhaps one that you like to see a bit more from.
Didn't I just do that?
He did.
Did you do it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because we kind of went in between conversations,
Yeah.
so I just kind of lost train of thought. Well, let's get last but not least. Let's get into Terry. I'm sure she's got a couple of great takes on this. Favorite Xbox and one that you think should pick it up a little bit.
All right, I would say for me, it's tough. Probably Machine Games because I love Wolfenstein. I think it's great.
Mhm.
And I would love to see them create a new IP because they're like one of the only studios out there that knows how to make a first-person shooter game that is story derived, whereas everybody else slaps the story together and focuses on online play. They actually can make a really good game that it has a great story, great characters, and you don't need online at all to enjoy. So I would like to see more of that. So I think they kind of knocked that out. So I really enjoy what they have going on. Bethesda's good and all, but I will always continue to overly critique them because as good as they are, I know they could be better if they stop being lazy in some areas with always being very dependent on the mod community to perfect their games for them. One that I think needs to step it up would be In Exile. I really enjoyed Wasteland's so good. Wasteland 3 was amazing. It had a rough start though. Let me tell you, I think I had several mini aneurysms trying to play it when it first came out with the load times and the game crashes.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get past it, that game was so good. I really would love to see them, kind of push to get more games out and more content out because they do have the talent. They don't really, they don't release too much very often.
Mm-hmm.
So I really would like to see them really step it up,
Yeah. Very nice. Very good. I knew she'd keep it straight and to the point. I'll try to do the same thing. Quite simply. My favorite studio, I mean, obviously the ones putting the most consistent work together is probably hands down Playground Games, and many people consider them one of Xbox top studios, and perhaps rightfully so. They've kind of earned a bit of that pedigree. They've made consecutive Forza Horizon games that were different enough to be like legitimate sequels, but all sort of, just keep raising the bar, and that's pretty tough because I know after Forza Horizon 3, a lot of us are like, man, how did these guys raise the bar? Did they go make 4? And you're like, holy crap, they did it again. And then you go 5, and you're like, nah, they did. Oh my God, they did. They just raised the bar again. You're just like, how do you do it? Just incredibly talented. Can't wait to see what they do with Fable. But, the Coalition is my jam because it's Gears. As, I abruptly put down a few weeks ago. Yes, make Gears 6. I'm all for it. That's what you were built for. That's what you were hired for. Yes, they're talented, so I kind of get it. It would be nice to see different things. But with timelines being so short, and of course, right now with money investments being so large, it's kind of hard to ignore a franchise that still carries weight. Now, you got people out there in this community, especially from the PlayStation side of things. Oh, he's like, Gears is dead. Well, you know what? As dead as you might think it is, it's a hell of a lot better than all those 0 multiplayer games your studios can make, isn't it? Yeah. So, there's just, it's one of those things where the Gears haters are largely haters because they don't have it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those scenarios where if you can't beat me, you're going to hate me. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of it. Yes, it has Gears kind of slipped a bit. Absolutely. I think we all feel that it's not quite the same franchise it was. But I don't think it's because they don't have the talent or they don't. I mean, the game aesthetically and, from a physical standpoint hasn't changed. In many ways, it's gotten better. It's gotten faster. It's gotten, more playable, I think, to many degrees. It's just, again, it's all comes down to the storytelling on Gears. And it's about making characters that you connect with and care about. And I think that's kind of where the game has kind of faltered. It just kind of got to the point where you just don't feel invested like you did perhaps in the first couple of games. It just didn't have a lot of the standout moments. The characters are just, Delta Squad. I mean, you had those 4 guys together for pretty much the first 3 games. Cole, Baird, Dom. Dom was only in it for a couple, but you know what I mean? So,
spoilers.
But
Watch the spoilers there, Noof, you know?
the coalition, man, like they're definitely talented. They know the engine, they know how to work, they know how to get the most out of the Unreal Engine. Very few teams can push it as far as they can. I mean, outside of Epic Games, who obviously owns everything, but you know that's where you're going. But honestly,
well, that's where they came from, right? I mean, that's who
where it
they
came
were.
from. You know,
that's where they were. They were part of Epic Games.
Yeah. Yeah, Epic Games, and a lot of they branched off, made their own studio. Gears, of course, Xbox threw down the money and bought the IP because they saw the value in it, and there you have it. You know, it's always one of those things. Is it Epic Games versus the Coalition, 343 versus Bungie? You know, you get that in every single time something changes hands. People always got their fors and against and all that sort of stuff, and nobody can build a game as good as us and blah blah blah. You know, I had this conversation with the Tomb Raider franchise. You know, obviously Crystal Dynamics built the first 2 games, and then it was handed off to, I think it was Eidos Montreal to finish the last one, and all 3 were fantastic games. There was very little to differentiate. I think it just came down for me. The second one was better because I liked the way they laid it out in the storytelling, whereas the third one had the best puzzles. It had the best. It almost felt the best Tomb Raider. It just didn't connect the same way. Do you know what I mean? And graphically, it looks freaking amazing. Go back and play it and tell me it's not one of the best looking games you've ever seen. That jungle at the beginning is like, wow, it's insane.
It was definitely one of the first games, not the first, but one of the first games that was successfully able to have the cutscenes and the gameplay transition so smoothly that sometimes you didn't always know, oh, it's time for me to move forward. You know?
Exactly. Very well done. Yeah. And for me, the studio that I would like to see more from, definitely Rare. You know, my attachment to Rare goes back to the Nintendo days, right? When they were seemed like everything they touched had the Midas touch. It was gold. You know, it was Nintendo's big studio that wasn't named Nintendo. It wasn't a Japanese built game. No offense or none meant there on that. I'm just saying, like, it was one of Nintendo's rare properties. Pardon the pun. And of course, Xbox shilled out some big bucks for them at the start of the 360 generation. Actually, it started the Xbox generation, because they actually had games on the original Xbox, and we saw that promise, and we saw all that stuff, and we saw the Banjos and Kazooies, and we saw, Cameo, like taking steps at originality, and we saw a bunch of different stuff, and then all of a sudden it was like the transition when it got to the Kinect, and all of a sudden it was like you took one of your best studios and you started making them dabble with Connect games and stuff like that, and now I just feel like it's like they're like the dark horse. They went from being like the pedigree to the outhouse essentially. Now nothing. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with Sea of Thieves. I love the originality there. I applaud what they're doing. There's no game out there like Sea of Thieves. Whether you love it or you hate it, there really is nothing out there like it. It's incredible. It's incredible to see how much it's grown from the time it started to where it is now. It feels almost completely different, but in a good way. And I applaud that, but I'd like to see more from them. I'd like to see them go back to either dabbling again with some of the old franchise, which they kind of said, no, we're done, we're over it. But that comes down to where I said, look, if you don't want to build it, get a studio who can, because you're sitting on IPs and games that are clearly loved by at least my generation, maybe not the new ones. But and it's one area I think again on Xbox is sorely lacking is in great platforming. They don't have a ton of those games out there. And again, you've got some iconic characters. You got Banjo-Kazooie, which we know. Maybe the new kids won't, but you know what? If you stick them in Fortnite and places like that and Smash Brothers, people are going to recognize them from somewhere. And those games generally sell a boatload as long as they're done well. And then just Conquer. Like I would almost cut my left nut off to have another Conquer. You know what I mean? Like I love that game so much. One of the most original platforming games I've ever played. Definitely needs a sequel, but. When people just say, well, because this day and age, everybody will be offended. Well, who cares? Offend the shit.
R-rated Mario game is what it is.
Go for it. Offend the shit out of them is what I say. Bring it out and get raunchier than ever. Because we need more of that and less of it because we're getting too much of a censored society now. It's getting kind of stupid at this. But it went from being annoying to now completely like dumb. I don't know if it was A&W, like, for example, like a couple weeks ago, it's on their social media, and I don't know if they were joking, but they said they were going to put pants on the A&W bear. And I went, okay, if this is really true, then we know we've hit the point of plateau now where you're starting to complain about a freaking fake bear not having pants. So are we going to put pants on Winnie the Pooh? Are we going to start going to put overhauls on dogs and cats now because their genitals are showing? Like, what's the deal?
Winnie,
You know what I mean?
Winnie the Pooh has a whole nother issue going on, which I can't wait to see.
Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah, I know, man. So, but anyway, Rare, I'd like to see him pick it up a little bit. I think there's tons of that potential, but I just feel like it's been just stagnated. And like, are they literally now? Are they walking in at Rare and going, "You guys are simply our Sea of Thieves studio now, and you're not going to build anything outside of doing like DLC for this game or content all the time"? Like I don't know. But anyway, I would like to see more. Whether we get it or not, it's hard to say. But there you go. And by the way, it was really cool. Shout out to that, because I thought I was going to have to purchase the GoldenEye game, but I don't. It was weird. I booted up my Rare Replay disc, and after that, because people said no, because they were saying something that you'd have to have the digital version of the Rare Replay disc, and I don't know. I booted up my disc. I went in, I took it out, and the next thing I know, I went over to the GoldenEye page, and it said download. That was it.
Huh.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh.
I got the game. I didn't have to pay any extra for it. So
that's awesome.
Kudos to that. I thought I was like, shit, I'm going to have to shell out some money to get this game, but it's all there. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, any further thoughts before we kind of wrap things up and get out of here for the day? What's going on? Let's say hello to the chat, because we got some amazing people hanging out with us, like Jacob Novik. We got HTK360s hanging out with us. Sean is in the building. We got Il Retito. What's going on, brother? Dan the Man Cunningham, and we've got Back from the Dead. We had Jago Kukin hanging out with us today, and many, many more. Eternal Shaddai is in the building. What's going on, brother? Jesse Darby's here as well. Jacob Novik, I think I already said you, but hello again. Ice Cream Gaming's been hanging out with us. We get Casper.
One last time for the latecomers. There you go. One last time.
All the latecomers. There you go. For all the latecomers, yes, go ahead. I'm putting it up on the screen. I'm going to leave it there for a couple of seconds. Copy that link and go support this man if you can. If nothing else, if you can't donate even $1, Paul put it in perspective. He said, we were talking behind the scenes. It's like, I got lots of followers, and even if only had a small percentage of them even donate $1, he'd hit his goal in like no time. But here we are, right? So even if you can, just at least share it out and help this man before he gets into dire straits. So I ask you as a friend and as a community member, do what you can. We do that for everybody. So there you go. Boom. All right. But anyway, it's time to close up this show. This was a fantastic show today. Phenomenal guests. Let people know where they can catch up with you next. Darth, it's been a minute. Thank you for coming on, man. I know since we shut down GAD, I've missed you. And I feel really bad because I know you've only been there a couple of weeks, but it is what it is. But we're glad that you could come on, and I'll definitely have you back on this program or maybe some of my special shows that I might do in the future. So let people know at least where they can catch up with you for the time being.
Well, Xbox, Darth Praxis, and then Twitter is @PraxisDarth. And there's where you're going to find me, hopefully, if you're lucky.
That's simple. All right. To one of our most energetic and amazing supporters, as always, guys, and make sure you show your support back. Go follow Doggy Dog. Go check him out on Friday nights and some other shows as well. He'll let you know all about it, Doggy.
Thank you, Newf, and thank you for having me on. This was a great time. Chat was awesome. Also be here with this awesome panel. You can find me on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m., The Retro Renegades, and Friday nights, 8 p.m. on Axel's channel. The dog's son. The Iconic Video Games Podcast. We have a great time there. Come check it out. It's just we like to interact with the chat. The chat makes that show. We have a great time, so come check it out.
Yeah, very fun, very interactive show. And the dog approves of Retro Renegades. Apparently, he's like,
yes.
he's just amped up by Doggy. Doggy's going. He's like, what? Yes, let's do it.
He's talking. Yes. All right. To another amazing community member who runs a little podcast that more people should be enjoying. It's got a great panel. I'm one of them included. He's been trying to get me for a while, and I finally said, yes, I'll make it happen, make it work. I'm glad to be a part of it. Game Set Live. Bob, let people know where they can check out that little podcast on Thursday evenings and whatever else you got happening.
Yeah, you can catch me on Twitter, Xbox, and PlayStation at KWebBob. And every Thursday night, I host a Band of Misfits at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel. The show is called Game Set Live. And last week we had probably one of the biggest shows we've ever had. We had double the viewers that I usually get in a week in 24 hours.
Nice.
So, but what's alarming is that I have more views than I have subscribers. So I don't know what's going on. So, I mean, I only do one show a week. I will not clog your alerts. So, I mean, come on.
It's
Support
a
the
crowded
channel.
Thursday
It's
night.
free.
I will admit, though, it's a crowded Thursdays. But at the
Yeah,
same time,
true.
if you can find an hour where there's nobody podcasting, you must be a genius.
Yeah.
This is true. Everybody's got a show these days. Yeah. But stop by, show your support. Thanks, New, for having me on here. You're a great panelist, and you're a great host of your own show. And everybody have a great day.
Absolutely. And just let her, I don't know if I did at the start, but anyway, Axel's away for 2 weeks on holidays. Scrub Nurse couldn't be with us this week, and I think he already said he might not be here next week because he's got some kind of work-related duties. So where'd Paul go? He didn't even get to do his outro. Where did he go?
That was
Paul,
his outro.
Paul is gone already. He didn't. He was just like, I gotta get out of here. He didn't even do his outro. So Paul. All right. I'm going to bounce all the rest of you guys from the screen. You can stay in the back room if you like as we get ready to do the outro of the show. Oh, he came back just in time. There he is. Let's bring him back in.
Apparently, my computer said your time is up. So, my browser.
All right. So, Paul, let people know. Let people know where they can find you, brother.
You can find me, of course, here every Sunday. Mondays, you can find me on the Xbox Ambassador channel doing gaming differently with CerebralPaul at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then on Tuesday, wow, everybody left already. Wow.
No, they're still here. They're in the back room. They can hear you.
Oh, they put on. I'm like, wow, where'd everybody go? You can find me on Tuesdays, Retro Renegades. Wednesdays, you can now find me on the Backlog Bastards with Spooky and the gang. And on Thursdays, 4GQ TV. And then on Friday and Saturday, I try to take some time off. So there you go.
He tries to take some time off. Yes, he's busy man, the CerebralPaul. Make sure you show your support. Like I said, guys, if you can get on that link, go help him out if you can. If you can't, again, like I said, the shares are appreciated. More eyes on the prize, so to speak. So thanks again, Paul, for being here, brother. We'll see you again next week for sure. If I don't see you in the community beforehand.
Yep.
All righty. And let's finally get down to CoolcatTerri, our lone female panelist who keeps this thing afloat every week. Never lets us down. Coolcat, where can people catch up with you? I know you've got some diverse podcasts and stuff happening as well.
Yeah, so you guys can go ahead. You can check out my Twitter, Coolcat_Terri. Otherwise, every place else on the internet, my name is like you see on the screen here, CoolcatTerri. So go check that all out. I have 2 YouTube channels. The main one right here has my gaming content, has some good stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a really good rant on Uncharted that I think a lot of you will get a good laugh out of if you want to go check that out. Otherwise, I have my car channel as well, Coolcat's Alley, so check that out. My Instagram, CoolcatTerri, all that good stuff. So go and have some fun and enjoy all the content.
Indeed. Well, thanks again for being here, Terry. We look forward to seeing you again next week, and we'll have some more guests with us as well. Up until then, yes, I'm getting ready to sign off here as well. So, you know where to find me right here, of course, on Good Morning Xbox each and every Sunday, unless something turns up. And when I'm not on this podcast, yes, I'm hanging out with KY Bob and company on GameSet Live Thursday nights. And I intend to do more streaming again Tuesday nights in the old Gaming After Dark time slot. I intend to stream more games. I've only streamed once, I think, in the last 3 weeks because just life's been busy and I just haven't found the time, but still continuing my adventures in Ratchet and Clank. So you can come check me out over there, at least say hello. I've had some pretty good turnouts, very surprising, and very grateful for it. And speaking of being grateful, very grateful for this amazing chat. You guys are fabulous. Thank you for being here each and every week. Thanks for all the love and support. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you can. Share it out. It's all appreciated. This was another Dynamite show. As you said, we're pretty much Xbox. Not a whole lot of console warring stuff going on here. We tell it like it is, or at least the way we see it. And, but we hope that you enjoy the show. You feel that it's still entertaining. And can't thank you any more than that. So thanks again for being here, everybody. Greatly appreciated. So let's get to the outro, and we'll see you all next Sunday.